Steven Crowder is loaded. So if this guy's sending you it's because he's already got a lawyer, he's already paid a retainer, and he's probably ready to you. It's spooky and scary. If you don't have any, this is pretty spicy.
I just got here.
Ex-Steven Crowder employee, they left, and now Steven Crowder is legally trying to this dude hard.
Another specific company.
Oh no. Oh no. Wait a second, hold on. Is this like the evolution of a lie? This is saying that she's getting paid $25,000 a month from Louder with Crowder. This guy says $25,000 a month by Steven Crowder. And then Tim Pool has changed this to $25,000 in child support. The Great Conservative Civil War of 2024. It appears Ben Shapiro donated $500 to free Jared Monroe. It's not him, he doesn't call himself Benjamin. You can type whatever you want in there. Actually, I did give $500, so there's that. Should we assume that Shapiro has any insight?
This can't go on any longer, and as the famous saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. I'm currently being legally abused and intimidated into silence by a former employer. This has been going on for a while now, and it simply cannot live in darkness for another day. But I am asking for your help to fight back. In late October of 2023, to my surprise, I was served these papers. A cease and desist from my former employer. It threatened severe legal action in the form of a lawsuit and demanded I cease communications with my friends. The scare tactics of cease and desist are generally to intimidate, isolate, and eventually devastate.
Cease and desist is not that. It can be used that way. Cease and desist is basically saying, I'm putting you on notice that if you do some shit, you might have some civil litigation headed your way. That's what a cease and desist is for, but okay.
Like most cease and desist, it also demanded that I swiftly provide them written certificate of my compliance. I did not. In the same delivery, I was also served these papers. A Rule 202 petition from my former employer. You can look that up on the internet. I know I had to.
Wait a
former employer. A Rule 202 petition from my...
When he says former employer, he means he worked for Crowder, right? Or is Crowder like contacting his boss? He was a co-host. Okay.
My former employer. You can look that up on the internet. I know I had to. These documents were filed with the county court of my former place of employment, demanding that I be subject to an oral deposition under oath for an unlimited amount of time, where they were free to interrogate me on pretty much any private matter that they chose. Also, in this petition for discovery, they demanded that I turn over documents of all communications with more than a dozen of my friends, an unlimited amount of unnamed persons in any form and over an unlimited period of time. I did not. Now, I did not for a few reasons.
Okay, just as a heads up. Okay, just as a heads up. If it's gotten to the point to where you're being served papers, guys, at that point, whether you want to participate or not, you're roped into some legal action. I am not a lawyer. However, I would highly recommend that if you are getting served papers, meaning that through some official channel, either somebody's knocking at your door and asking for an ID or confirming your identity and then giving you papers from a courthouse, or you might be able to do it with first class certified USPS, you might be able to serve. I don't remember if you can accept service that way or not, I'm not sure. But if that's happening, if you're getting served court papers, you need to do, you have to do a legal consultation. You can't just not respond and see what happens. Certified mail, you might be able to do service through certified mail. I don't know if that depends on the type of claim or not, but you have to, or if you don't want to get a lawyer, go to the courthouse and read and look up on how you need to respond to this particular thing, because there's been legal action started, and you don't want to be, you don't want to be in a situation to where you're missing court dates or you're missing filing deadlines to do responses or whatever, and now you're like even more because if the other person wants to take it to court and they've already gotten like stuff served to you, like there's a chance that this is going to go to court whether you want it to or not. So
number one, I have seen how this employer handles legal issues, and
or move off the grid, never respond, never get subpoenaed. Based, true.
I knew that once I opened the door to legal abuse, it would never ever be shut. This is how they operate. In fact, I'm not the only one who's a current victim. My former employer is exploiting the legal system to abuse others right now, all in the darkness, fully knowing that the fear and the risks it takes to speak up. This kind of harassment at the hands of the powerful isn't just designed to financially ruin somebody, it's designed to cripple their soul. And I wasn't about to put my family on embarking upon a journey down that road. Number two, I was not about to allow the privacy of my personal life, the trust I have with my friends, and the real relationships I have with them to be violated in such an vindictive and abusive manner. It simply was not going to happen. I received.
I would say normally, okay, I have to like shift gears because I've been in the red pill world for so long. I have to shift gears in terms of talking about this. Because in the red pill world, people might threaten to sue you and do shit, but everybody there is broke. Nobody there actually has any money, so it doesn't matter. So when these guys are talking about suing people and shit, they might get a guy from a law firm to write like a cease and desist on like a letterhead or whatever. But now in this world, Steven Crowder is loaded, okay? So if this guy's sending you shit, it's because he's already got a lawyer, he's already paid a retainer, and he's probably ready to you if he's legitimately serving you papers. Or you should at least assume so. Oof. Because I was gonna say it'd be funny to like fund the other side of this lawsuit, but I wouldn't ever want to be on the other end of this shit.
I received the latest article of legal harassment on Friday, March 22nd, 2024. After months now of litigation exhausting even the court with relentless amendments to their Rule 202 petition, my ex-employer was finally awarded.
Oh, okay. It sounds like he does have legal counsel, I think. That's what it sounds like, right?
Their request for my oral deposition and any document or communication with my friends that they believe may provide any avenue to sue me or others. As it stands, they await my forced cooperation. I will not. I will continue to fight. Now, here's the big question, is what was their entire reason for this harassment and the basis for their claims? These documents. An NDA. Some more context. I signed this separation agreement, an NDA, containing a strict and very broad non-disparagement clause many years ago. I voluntarily left my job after deciding I could no longer put myself or my growing family through the toxic and abusive work environment I had endured for years.
Oof. I think California has outlawed a lot of these NDAs because these things can be unbelievably broad. NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement. And basically what it means is these are things that you're not allowed to talk about. In some cases, we can imagine NDAs are super reasonable. Say you're working in a technology lab and you're privy to some very important like insider secrets, and if you leave the company for some number of years, you're not allowed to talk about these or something like that. But some NDAs can be incredibly broad, such that you're signing non-competes, meaning you can't contact prior customers, you can't work for people in the same field. You'll sign NDAs into perpetuity, meaning you can't talk about anything even remotely. The idea is just that the tendrils grow so far that they can sue you for basically anything if they want to show you up for something. But I don't know how many of these NDAs are enforceable. It gets really weird when you start taking these to court, because I think a lot of these NDAs will get knocked down to where a judge will look at this and be like, this is way too broad. You're insane to think that this NDA was ever going to be enforceable. Remember, when you're signing paperwork from, okay, hold on, careful. Very broad legal advice. It's not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, but just stuff to keep in mind. Just because you sign something doesn't necessarily mean it is a legally enforceable document that 100% will hold up in court and will you. It's basically an agreement that two parties are signing, but there are a variety of reasons why you're not allowed to sign certain things, even if somebody puts it in front of you. Just because you sign it doesn't necessarily mean that you're beholden to it, right? Like if somebody signs and says, listen, we're going to bump your pay up $5 an hour, so you're going to get $15 an hour working this job, but if you fail to show up to work for 3 days in a row through the form of a no-call, no-show, we're going to come to your house and execute your child, right? If you get sick and you don't call out because you're in a coma for 3 days, and then they come to your house to kill your child and you go to court, it's highly unlikely the judge is going to say, well, you did sign the paper, sorry, but looks like Lil Nathan's going to have his head removed tonight. Like, that's probably not going to happen. He's represented by Sydney Handjerker at Handjerker, Cohen, and Bromberg. Thanks for the dono.
This place was and is to this day a workplace rife with sexual misconduct, degeneracy.
At Destiny, would they ever just use this to scare him, knowing the NDA wouldn't hold in court? Yeah, it's possible. People could. Yeah, of course. Like, letterheads from law firms when you're just an ordinary civilian are kind of scary, or citizen, I should say. Yeah, it's spooky and scary. If you don't have any formal engagement with the legal system, then it's like, oh God, like my whole life is going to end. And to be fair, if I had to guess, 90% of Americans don't know the difference between like a civil and a criminal matter, for instance. So yeah, legal shit is always spooky.
And aggression. The things I saw, the things done to me, and the things I witnessed my employer do to others were disgusting, shocking, and utterly indefensible. I have the receipts. This all took a serious toll on my personal health. To the point near the end of my tenure, the work environment had become so toxic that I had to be admitted into a heart hospital. And after many tests, I was ultimately put on anti-anxiety medication. This condition was something new to me. I had no history of it prior to my employment there and have never been treated for it since. Now, when I decided to resign, my wife was pregnant with her firstborn child. It was a terrifying position to be put in, but I absolutely knew that I could not be the husband or dad I was called to be for them in my current state. Something had to change. And if I couldn't change my work environment, then it was time for me to remove myself from it. I was fully aware that willfully resigning would mean I would forfeit any sort of severance. I trusted that God would provide. What I had not anticipated is how much it would cost me to quit. This is where my first experience with legal abuse began. Starting from the day I delivered my notice of resignation, I was put on the phone with company lawyers, and the good cop, bad cop coercion campaign to get my signature on an NDA was well underway. I was told many lies throughout this process. I immediately hired.
Also, I say this when I talk about foreign policy. I say this when I talk about the government. I say this when I talk about everything, okay? You need to understand what things are designed to do based on who they work for and who's paying them, okay? Kind of the same thing, okay? So, for instance, when I talk about unions, okay? Unions do not exist to make America a better place. Unions don't exist to make people happier. They don't exist to help our country. Unions exist to represent employees. That's it. They represent the people that they represent. That's all, okay? Whatever group of employees. So in some cases it might be really good. In some cases it might be really bad, but that's what they do. That's all they do. When you are on the phone and you're speaking to representation from a company, that representation's goal is to represent that company. They're looking out for their best interests, not yours. You absolutely never, ever, ever need to forget this. You never, ever, ever want to forget. You need to remember this for the rest of your life. When you go to HR, when you go to anything, okay, the goal there is to protect the people that are paying them. You don't hire HR to help your employees against yourself. It wouldn't make any sense. You would never do that, right? This is why oftentimes if you're signing with a label for music, or if you're signing in esports to a team or whatever, you should have representation, legal counsel that you have retained on your own. Don't use their guy. Don't be like, oh, we'll send you a guy to like help you work out the stuff. He's their representative. He's being paid by them. You don't want to use their dude who's being paid by them and represents them and their interests to help you. They're not going to help you. They're going to fuck you.
Hire my own legal counsel, and by the grace of God, understanding my predicament, he even agreed to work for half of his normal rate. Even so, the legal fees immediately began to pile up. My former employer and his attorney argued I could not work in media anywhere in the world, and most certainly not in the United States for 2 years. This is not because I involuntarily signed some sort of non-compete in my original employment agreement. It was because they decided a non-solicitation clause that was in said original agreement would retroactively be interpreted as the broadest and strictest non-compete one could draft. They told me my Twitter account, another potential lifeline to future work, which I'd owned and been the sole manager of since 2009, was to be turned over to them on the argument that it was somehow their intellectual property now. Presumably to keep me from working even further, my former employer even tried to claim...
Wait. Sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry, because I just saw this. Hold on. Kind of like insurance defense lawyers in car accident cases, they rep the insurance company and the consumer. That is not true. Careful on that. Hold on. That is completely wrong. If you get into a car accident with somebody else, assuming a police officer has shown up or something and they're at fault for the accident, that is 100% for your insurance company to handle. They're your insurance company. They represent you. You're paying them. You are their customer and you pay them to represent you. Don't be afraid of filing a claim with your insurance if there's like some serious shit going on if you're not at fault. That's literally what they're there for. And even if you are at fault, that's still what they're there for. I mean, your rates might go up or you might have to pay some other costs. I mean, that's part of the game. But like, no, your insurance company, you pay them to represent you. That's what you pay them for. If you pay for an insurance company and you don't ever use them or do anything, you're yourself. In that case, don't waste the money. Destiny, your insurance will look for a reason to drop you. They don't make money by paying out. I don't know if that's true or not. If every insurance company just dropped you instantly, they wouldn't have any customers. Like if you're fucking around a lot, if you're like totaling car after car after car, they might fuck you. But I think for the most part, as long as you're not doing weird shit. One day Pisco is gonna meme himself into being a anti-fan. You're lucky I'm not in New York today. You're lucky they canceled that flight because I your mom so hard she was wet all over the landing strip.
What are we talking about? Fucking moms.
Pisco's mom. Wait, I'm gonna use yours real quick, but you can chat for a sec. Hold on one sec. Oh wait, actually, did you see the intro to this?
No.
Oh, this is pretty spicy.
I just got here.
Ex-Steven Crowder employee. They left, and now Steven Crowder is legally trying to f this dude hard. Hold on one sec. I'll be back though.
Okay. Devin Demise says, Destiny barely wipes his ass, I bet. That's a very specific insult that also I can't help but think that this says something more about you saying that insult than it does to Steven. I mean, it could be true, it could not be true, but you went there and you're thinking that, and it's a little weird.
I have those receipts as well. All I simply wanted to do was peacefully leave. It was clear by my employer, though, that this was not only unacceptable, but that I needed to be punished for doing so. Being bullied on each of these terms, and many more, fighting for my basic freedoms to leave and provide for my family, immediately sent me into legal debt. I did not want to sign anything, mind you. But the negotiations with my former employer left no question that without a signed NDA, my guaranteed silence, I would undoubtedly be harassed well into the future. No matter if there are future claims against me for where I worked or what I did or what I said were legitimate or not, it didn't matter. It would cost me thousands and thousands to fight back, and they knew that. I had to make a deal. With nothing but a small savings account in my last paycheck, I had to accept the deal I could afford. It's very important to note here that, where is it? It's here. I was not paid a single dollar for its consideration. Which brings me to what you might be asking next. What was the reason I did sign this? And again, as a man with his first child on the way, the small victory I got from it. The primary reason I signed the NDA was for a small carve-out in the non-compete clause, which allowed me to freely seek employment using some of my skill sets at another specific company.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
At least I could feed my family. That provision, however, was a lie. And upon starting my new job at the new said company, I was giving another one of these, a cease and desist, and was promptly, unlawfully terminated from that position. I added thousands more to my legal debt trying...
Wait, why did they terminate your job? The other employer fired you? I feel like we're leaving out some information here. That's kind of wild, but...
to fight back. My wife was very pregnant by this time, and without a financial safety net for groceries and a baby crib, much less a legal fund to file a countersuit, I simply had to let it go, trusting God had a plan. To that point, I want to say that I'm happy to report that he did have a plan, and what was intended for evil, God used for good, and it took me years to pay off my legal debt, but the story of God's faithfulness in my life became a very large part of my testimony.
All right, never mind. Listen, heads up in the future, if for whatever reason, if I become even more rich and powerful than I am right now, okay? I will never, ever, ever raise money or fund your shit if you ever say some shit like God has a plan. Listen, if God has a plan, then pray to him for money, motherfucker. Fuck that shit. Boy, you better believe if I was ever around Nathan and he thanked God for some shit that I bought him, I'd be whipping that motherfucker's ass, okay? Or I'd kick him out and let God provide. Fuck that bullshit.
Money, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunities that he gave me, and yes, story for another day, but back to this. While my supposed non-compete expired after 2 years, unfortunately, the most egregious part of my NDA, the part that silences my free speech, has no expiration. While NDAs are classically used to protect trade secrets, unfortunately, in the entertainment industry, they are too often used to protect disgusting, unlawful activity and many forms of abuse. We see examples of this all the time. Powerful people and their attorneys routinely use NDAs to silence victims in order to remain powerful people. Free speech matters. It matters a lot to me, and that's not just a t-shirt slogan. It really matters. And these kinds of NDAs, right here, coming from this, are unquestionably unconstitutional. I will not live with the burden of this unconstitutional NDA over my head for the rest of my life, especially when information I have can be used to aid other victims escape their own abusive situations, which is the context for which this former employer feels they caught me breaking my agreement. Let me be clear, what I'm afraid of is legal harassment in perpetuity, not the truth. Only one side of this ordeal is spending a fortune to hide truth and punish anyone who dares speak up for themselves or other victims. While I will not give in to the harassment by my former employer, I have to recognize this process has already become unbearably expensive, not only because of the general expense of the legal process, but because my former employer has seemingly unlimited wealth and resources to gleefully spend punishing powerless people.
Is he publishing court docs or giving like an actual insight into how much money is being thrown around here? I'm so curious. Especially if he's doing a GoFundMe. $100,000 to fight this?
I tried to handle legal fees on my own these last months, and the fees have already reached the tens of thousands of dollars with no resolution in sight.
Tens of thousands of dollars? Post some legal bills. What is he spending tens of thousands of dollars on? Jesus Christ.
Stopped, this type of legal abuse could go on for years and years and quickly escalate into hundreds of thousands of dollars as I fight to protect myself and my family. I cannot put my wife and my children through this. Not again. I cannot be bound to an unconstitutional NDA like this forever. Protecting my family means finding a path that doesn't.
Also, unconstitutional and it just means like illegal or unenforceable. That's such a loaded term.
Like this forever. Protecting my family means finding a path that doesn't leave us in financial ruin, and we are simply out of funds, and I have no other option but to ask for help. I'm asking for donations for 2 reasons. Number one, obviously to help with the financial burden I've already accrued with this legal matter right here. That's taken care of.
Why not fund this guy? If the law is clearly on his side, how much does it matter if Stephen Crowder has more lawyer money? What? Because he hasn't published anything. I don't even know if I believe this story. I think there's a lot that's being held out here. It wouldn't surprise me if Crowder was fucking him over in some way, size, shape, or form. But like, if he was, then show us some documents, publish some documents, publish some bills or some legal fees, or what law firm do you have on retainer that's working for you for this? Like, what's going on here? Like, and maybe, by the way, maybe he'll do it. We still got 3 minutes to go. But other than that, if I don't see a single document, I don't trust any of this shit. No.
That matter is priority number one as I'm going further and further into debt with each passing day. The second reason I'm asking for financial assistance, though, assistance is to...
Like, what the fuck are all these papers? Like, show us some. Turn them around. Did he? Did I miss it? Turn some of these... Why do you have all these papers in your hand? Like, let's see it. Did your lawyer not use email? What's going on here?
Into debt with each passing day. The second reason I'm asking for financial assistance, though, assistance is to proactively address my unconstitutional anti-free speech NDA, which is the basis for all of their claims against me. The simplest resolution here would be for my ex-employer to release me from the NDA. Give me and my fellow ex-employees the same free speech they publicly champion for every other American. But I can almost guarantee you that will not happen. I've already witnessed them spend unfathomable amounts of money in other cases to protect their double life and secrets. No more darkness. That's why, beyond the current burden I face from my ex-employer's legal abuse, I will be using these donations to fight back and file a counter motion, placing my unconstitutional NDA before a judge to have it dissolved in its entirety. I want my First Amendment rights back. I want to stop the cycle of abuse, and I want truth to be known. This takes incredible resources I simply don't have. Truthfully, I don't know how much money this will take. Probably much more than my current goal is. But every penny.
Probably much more? Bro, I will say, listen, okay? As a rich person speaking to the plebs, all right? People over-exaggerate the fuck out of legal costs, all right? People will act like if you want to sue somebody, you're spending like $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, like all points in time. This is an extraordinary amount of money. $100,000 case? This is like some small business level shit. Like individual civil court stuff for NDAs, paying $100,000 and way more to a law firm? That's a lot of fucking money for a case like this. Or I say a case like this. For like one individual suing another very small company over like an NDA disagreement, that's like, this is a huge dollar cost. Didn't you say earlier that Crowder has the funding to make these kinds of threats? Well, yeah, I mean, like he could definitely put, throw $10,000 on a lawyer retainer and have him like ship out basically a ton of fucking cease and desist to fuck with people, and it wouldn't be a big deal for him. It looked like it had cost here. It said around $45,000. Oh. Although there is some data suggesting that the average employment case resolves for around $45,000. But this is including cases where, like, I'm guessing where you're suing for wrongful termination due to like discrimination or like racism or shit like that. This is probably factoring in a ton of that type of stuff. Wait, don't I have lawyers in my audience? Leon, where are you? I see you in chat. What do you think? How much do you think it would cost to? I leave my job. Employer shoots me a bullshit ass NDA. He said I signed it. And he says, actually, we're going to sue you because I don't like who you work if I don't like what you say. Let's say I go to your law firm, or do you still work as a lawyer? And I say, hey, my ex-employer is trying to do some bullshit-ass NDA on me. How much do you think, do you remember? I don't even know what, like, law area you work in. What do you think, like, what do you think the average cost for a suit like that would be? Let's say a suit that's dismissed before, or like, you're not actually doing the full, you're not going to court, civil court and doing everything, but like, through cross motions and filings and going for a dismissal and settlement, what do you think like the average case like that would cost? Destiny, I billed $10K to handle a case from start to finish in the common pleas court from pleadings phase go trial. From start to finish in common pleas court. Are you telling me, Leon, does that mean that $10K from start to finish where it ends with them pleading guilty basically, or pleading something down to guilty basically? So you're not talking about like doing a whole formal trial, right? I'm currently in a small business dispute lawsuit. I have about $25K in on lawyer fees so far, and we have mediation next week. Pleadings all the way and finish the trial. $10,000 to go from start to finish for a trial? That sounds like some public defender fees. That sounds really cheap. To do a full-on trial? Why didn't you ask Pisco? Because Pisco's gonna say some autistic shit like, oh, it costs like $500,000 because he works for like fucking Putin or some shit. Listen, I'm not asking a New York lawyer, T14 law school grad, okay, or T whatever 6 law school grad to fucking tell me what they bill for bullshit, okay? Fuck that. Yeah, I have no overhead. Oh damn, you're just like the street lawyer. You're just out there working without a team, just on your own. Holy shit. Can you go over the Tim Pool Ellis argument about Crowder's ex-wife? Link me.
No more darkness. Victims of the cruel and powerful deserve a voice. Truth is the sword that slays the monsters, so let there be truth. Free speech matters.
If I quote tweeted this and said, hey, here are some docs I would really like to see posted, and if so, I'll donate $5,000 to your campaign or your whatever, do you think he would do it, or do you think he would say fuck off? Sue him? Is that legal? Why would it not be legal? He's raising money for his whatever bullshit ass, well, I shouldn't say bullshit, I don't know. Would that damage his case? Why? What's the damage? If it's already been filed in court. It's weird, like dangling money. Yeah, that's what I want to do, is dangle money. I just don't understand why. It's insane to me that somebody would post asking for help for something like this and not post any proof whatsoever. I must be like I'm an odd one out there. Does free Jared Monroe have any more information? I think it just redirects to this GoFundMe. That's it. But there's no proof. There's no evidence. He doesn't post any of the NDA. He doesn't post any of the current court proceedings. He doesn't post any of the legal fees that he's paid so far. There's nothing posted here. Like, what is the... He might have a totally legitimate case, and everything might be like on the up and up. But we have no reason to think that. Or is there something... Is it not possible that part of his legal issues is not being able to say anything? He wouldn't even name his former employer? I don't know. I don't know all of the law. If you're a lawyer, name all the law right now. Name every law. But he couldn't say who he's got on retainer and for how much money. I'm trying to think of like what could possibly prevent you from saying, oh, I have this law firm right now and I've paid them a $5,000 retainer. Here's how much they've billed me so far. Or why not show like what's been filed in court so far? All of these filings are private. I mean, he's raising the money regardless of my fucking opinion, so what does it even matter? Imagine paying $25,000 a month to your ex-wife like Crowder is. Hey, I mean, it depends on what your wife did for you, dude. If she gave up a whole ass career, or if she helped him with shit, or who, right? Plus child support. Wait, do we even know? Is Stephen Crowder even paying $25K a month? I shouldn't even justify that with a response without figuring out if that was even true. Hope this helps. Windows stereo mix and quick switch audio inputs. Your Reddit page title. Listen, I love you, okay? We'll see. All right, wait, there were 2 donos earlier. From Fen Cirques. Just watch your conversation with JP. I am very much a right-wing conservative, but I wanted to throw you some support. I think you handled yourself very well, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you. Oh my God.
Just want to say off the
32 minutes, no. Per Hillary's father in Hillary's group text thread, here is a message liked by Hillary. The extortion scheme involved assembling a team to destabilize Stephen. They understand right-wing media. They are familiar with who Stephen is and that world and the things that would destabilize him, or will commit to investing the necessary time, thoughtful consideration, and judgment to become sufficiently familiar with that world in order that they become intellectually and emotionally invested in Hillary's circumstances. They are experts on narcissists and or will read and view selected articles to fully understand the narcissism and impact on the spouse of a They think outside the box. They are welcome to the ideas of using the media /Brian Friedman /PR, etc. They also provide their own strategies and ideas that are outside the box, fully understand and agree that Hillary's goals and expectations for the outcome of this divorce are reasonable and attainable, not necessarily according to Texas family law precedent, but by employing a media /Brian Friedman and PR strategy that will significantly threaten this public persona and brand. Is that legal? I have no idea what the... Hey, I have tickets for Aquarium at 2 p.m. We'll pick you up from the hotel. What is this? Hillary and Jared met in Atlanta to discuss their strategy and took this picture. Okay. Mrs. Crowder then intentionally deleted all other footage that depicted the marital home, as well as footage from their vacation lake residence while under express orders in the court barring such actions. Defendant's actions been at LWC. Well, this sounds like it's being alleged by the defendants in this one. I don't know if that's 100% true. That's just an allegation, right? Yes, because it's the plaintiff's amended petition. Oh, or would Steven Crowder be the plaintiff? I guess it doesn't matter for divorce, does it? Like either one can be the petitioner? Maybe? I don't know. Fact, Hilary is paid $25,000 a month by Steven. The judge in the divorce proceeding ordered that LWC has to pay me $25,000 per month pursuant to a temporary order during the duration of the divorce. Steven tried to reduce that amount, but was unsuccessful. I could barely pay my divorce attorneys, let alone the attorneys in this litigation with that amount. Okay, well, hold on. To be fair, I'm not even taking sides here, but this statement doesn't really convey what he's trying to. This makes it seem like Hillary's getting big baller money, $25,000 a month. Boom. Like she can just like spend this on whatever. But here in this statement, if we believe that she's getting $25,000 a month, also, oh God, I don't know I haven't read through this whole case. I'm also trying to figure out, is she being paid as part of like a severance pay or something? Because this says the judge in the divorce proceeding ordered that LWC, I'm gonna guess that's the name of Steven Crowder's business, Louder with Crowder, has to pay me $25,000 per month pursuant to a temporary order during the duration of the divorce. So this sounds like it's coming from his company. So does that even mean that, is this even part of like an alimony or anything? Or is this like a severance thing relating to her job there? Yeah, she's getting paid more than me from Israel. We need to renegotiate with the Juluminati. Hillary hired entertainment superstar lawyer Brian Friedman as part of her PR attack against Steven Friedman. Okay, I don't care about any of this. Only on the condition that he edges until the proceedings? That could be weeks or months. No man can edge that long. No balls should ever be that blue. Crowder has to pay $25,000 in child support that his ex-wife... Wait a second. Hold on. Are we seeing the meme happen in real time? Is this like the evolution of a lie? Okay, we should look for this. We should look for this thing. Somebody said that Pearl has all the documents posted on Twitter. This is saying that she's getting paid $25,000 a month from Louder with Crowder. This guy says $25,000 a month by Steven Crowder. And then Tim Pool has changed this to $25,000 in child support. My understanding, and I could be wrong, I'm just going by my own personal experience as a fellow child support payer, I'm pretty sure child support is capped unless you're going through like super extra, isn't it? Like if you, let's look up. Florida child support calculator. Like, isn't there a theoretical max that is supposed to be paid for child support and you can't really go over that number? Unless, but as part of a divorce, like in court, you could theoretically be ordered to pay more, I think. Although, would that be alimony or child support? Or that might be special contracts that they've made prior to getting married as well. Oh my fucking God, what the fuck is this horrible fuck interface? My God. Let's check. Okay. Custodial parent. Mom makes $12,000 a year. Okay, doesn't work. Dad makes $15 million a year. Number of children, 1. Monthly cost of daycare. We'll just say 0 on all this shit. Calculate. We'll see if it caps it or if it just gives us a huge amount. Ooh, this just gives us a huge amount. I feel like this number is normally capped. Under this scenario, your monthly child support payment would be $2 million. There's no way. Let's check. Is child support normally capped? Oh, maybe on some states it's not. Is there a cap on child support? The income shares model formula ensures that a person's child support obligation will not exceed what he or she can actually pay. Thus, there is technically no maximum amount of child support in Florida. How is child support calculated in Florida. I wonder if does it have to do with, is there like an expected need of the child, or is it just on income? Child support in Florida is calculated using income share amount divided between the two parents based on their incomes. Courts estimate how much money the parents would have spent on their children if they were still together. Oh, so this makes it sound like it might go by prior spending. So like if you were a rich family and you spent a ton of money on your kids, then when you get divorced, you might still be spending a ton on your kids. Maybe? I understand the gross income is a factor, number of children, parenting time. Calculate each parent's monthly income. No more than 45 days after filing child support, both parties must complete the financial affidavit. One for incomes under 50,000, another for those above 50,000. Determine what you can buy monthly. Divide your partner's net income by the combined monthly net income and multiply the result by 100. Determine your percentage of financial responsibility. For instance, say you have a net income of 3,000, both parents combined monthly income 600. Okay, determine the primary monthly obligation. Oh, Form 12902E. Oh, this is just going to be for... Oh, somebody linked court docs. Texas divorce laws state the maximum child support amount for one child is $1,840. This is because state law dictates a maximum amount of net monthly income that can be used to calculate child support, which is not... Okay, it must vary state by state then. In some states, maybe there's no cap. No cap. Okay, let me go over some of the other links I have open because I think they're related to this. The Great Conservative Civil War of 2024. It appears Ben Shapiro donated $500 to free Jared Monroe. It's not him. He doesn't call himself Benjamin. You can type whatever you want in there. Actually, I did give $500, so there's that. Ooh, damn. Okay, these are all public record. Open. Why not just link the fucking PDF? Should we assume that Shapiro has any insight in this situation? Possibly, but we don't know what that insight is. He could just really hate Crowder. I imagine everybody at the Daily Wire really hates Crowder because Crowder tried to fuck the Daily Wire on some really sleazy public shit with contracts and pretending that they were trying to fuck him over with a offer. So, petitioner Louder with Crowder files this Rule 202 petition under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 2 requesting respondent's deposition and for the production of documents, and shows the court the following. Louder with Crowder, principal. Respondent is Jared, the one guy. Respondent may be served with process at that address or any such. The court has jurisdiction over respondent and the subject matter of the anticipated lawsuit because the parties executed a confidential separation agreement and release agreement fully described herein, under which the parties agreed the venue for any litigation will be in Collin County, Texas. Conservatives always say women know the risks of sex when talking about abortion, while men know the laws about child support and play victim. True, Kay. True. Have you considered debating Crowder, or has he ever reached out in any form? No, Crowder doesn't really do debates, though, unless it's with college kids. Louder with Crowder publishes online articles about current events. Wait, that's page 1. Okay. And provides a popular podcast, Louder with Crowder. Stephen Crowder is the host, creator, and namesake of Louder with Crowder. The Quartering did a video synopsizing the Crowder-Jared Minecraft allegation battle. It's short and collects a bunch of statements and screenshots. I can read, but thank you. Upon respondent's voluntary departure from Louder with Crowder, the parties entered into the agreement. The agreement contains a non-disparagement clause. Louder with Crowder believes the respondent has been approaching various third parties and disparaging Louder with Crowder and Crowder to tortuously interfere with Louder with Crowder's continuing and prospective business relationships, thereby breaching the agreement. Louder with Crowder files this verified petition to take a deposition on oral examination and seeks to depose respondent to investigate potential claims against respondent that may constitute breach of contract, torturous interference with a contract, torturous interference with prospective business relations, and defamation. Wait, is Pisco here? Can you plead the fifth in a civil case? Can you plead the fifth in a civil case? There's no way, right? Shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. The Fifth Amendment does not forbid adverse interferences or inferences against parties to civil action when they refuse to testify. Yes, but it can be used against you. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I know this because it's relevant to Trump's civil case. Gotcha. Okay. Additionally, respondent is expected to offer testimony, produce documents regarding his breach of the agreement, and scheme to interfere with LWC's current and prospective business relations. Along with monetary damages, LWC also anticipates seeking temporary and permanent injunctive relief, as the defendant respondent will have an interest in this litigation that is adverse to LWC, and LWC does not expect that there will be any other parties adverse to LWC. Permanent injunctive relief. Is that like we try to get relief before going to trial or some shit? Injunctive relief, also known as injunction, is a remedy which restrains a party from doing certain acts or requires a party to act in a certain way. Okay, makes sense. LWC desires to depose respondent. The substance of respondent's testimony will relate to his breach of contract, tortious interference with LWC's existing. Okay, interesting. So I'm guessing, did they get shut down for the injunctive relief, or are they still waiting for a response on this? Or if you read the document, you will understand that Crowder is forcing him to a deposition and revealing private communications with literally everyone. Jared left his job 6 years ago, stayed quiet all this time, and is still getting dragged in court. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you would expect to happen, right? If you signed a non-disparagement clause saying that you're not going to shit on your prior employer, and then you go around and you shit talk a bunch of people, they're probably going to want to depose you to assess if you shit talk them, right? Or damages or anything to know exactly what you've said. Now, would that be within your right in like a civil court? I imagine it probably would be. That makes sense. I think I say that makes sense like I have any fucking idea. But I mean, on its face, it makes sense to me. Let's see. We've got another one of the Laurens. Yes, he's launched extraordinarily litigious lawsuits against her and family that she cannot afford because she quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom. He also then went for full custody of the kids, but thankfully she was awarded some funds to prevent herself from becoming homeless and having her children taken. If you understood how much he's spending on lawyers, you'd know she's spending every cent of that defending herself. Should stay-at-home wives be able to have their children taken from them and left homeless if their husband is extremely wealthy, or should they be given a sliver of the money their husband is spending on lawyers to defend themselves? Can't you... In a marriage, aren't you supposed to have access to the marital funds to pay for divorce stuff? Am I lying on that? Like if you and your husband, wait, can I use my husband's money for divorce attorney? Florida statutes allow courts to order one party to pay the other party's reasonable attorney's fees and certain other expenses after considering the final resources or the financial resources of each party. The court may do this in dissolution proceedings. It's going to vary state by state, though, so I should at the very least look for Texas, right? The state of Texas is a community property state, meaning that the assets and debts belong to both spouses until the divorce proceeding is completely finished. This includes attorney's fees, and so they are subject to just and right division between the spouses. This is allowed under Texas civil procedure. It's kind of a unique thing for civil cases. The point is that this is done to engage in fact-finding that would bear out details the plaintiff would use to file suit and meet the elements of a claim. Yeah, but esports Batman, there must be some minimum threshold that you have to meet of evidence before you're allowed to just do discovery on the other side, right? There must be. Otherwise, people could just have infinite discovery on anybody all day long if they've ever signed a contract with each other, right? You can get it, but only if the court orders the spouse. My dad withheld all money from my mom when they began divorce in Colorado. I feel like because isn't it, it's got to be, because it's both your money, right? If I get married to a woman and then we're married for 10 years and then I file for divorce, well, but actually, I guess we haven't really established what the marital money is, right? Because that would be part of the divorce itself, huh? I don't know. I'm not sure. What is this? Don't you say women shouldn't be in the workforce and should be at home with their kids, which is at Pearl. Also, last I checked, Hillary is actively pursuing a job. It's called getting a job like the rest of us, Lorno. Women should definitely be at home with their kids, yes, but also their dads too. Why did you do everything to hide your kid from its father? Its father. Your ex has a right to see them. I offered my husband full shared custody with absolutely no strings attached, not even child support or alimony. He rejected it. He's been offered over a dozen times per day in mediation to visit his child. He rejected it. Perhaps talk about things you know about Pearl. Give me his number, Lauren. I'll verify. I'm sure you have all the details correct. Jesus. Lauren pussied out after this? Can you confirm? Based on all the stuff that I know behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure Lauren's story is accurate here. It'd be pretty retarded for her to post these things publicly if she was completely wrong. I'll just say that. If it was the case that this was just completely and totally wrong and it could be easily disproven by her husband or her ex-husband, wouldn't he just post those logs and completely and totally destroy Lauren? Seems like it. Pro, you leaked Steven's court deposition, Steven Crowder. That wasn't supposed to be public and didn't bleep out the nanny's address or info. Why would I give you any info about my personal life? Also, why would you state I'm hiding my child when you just admitted to not knowing any details? This is fair. This is the classic lose, lose, lose that I spoke about before. Why the f would you release additional private information to somebody as unhinged and borderline retarded? And when I say borderline retarded, what I mean is Pearl is almost not retarded. She's just barely below the retarded line. Why would you ever release any more information to this person? That makes total sense, yeah. I'll be sure to issue a retraction when I can verify the information you publicly put on the internet. You've got nothing to hide, right? Pro, you say this by claiming I was hiding my child from my ex with no evidence. You're the one who made an initial claim. You need to provide evidence for, not me. I don't care if it remains your word against mine on this. I obviously know more LeMayo. True. Sure, you offered. This ex let a woman on a terrorist watch list run off to another continent with their toddler? And that's if you're even telling the truth. I want to hear his side. Either you're retard or you're lying. Not good for your son either way. This ex let a woman on a terrorist watch list run off to another continent with their toddler. I mean, I feel like it would be pretty easy to find. I feel like you could probably extradite a child if somebody truly and completely abducted a child from one person to another, right? Like, I feel like you could obviously file a court order or something internationally even. Because yeah, like if somebody actually abducted a fucking child, like it's not like, or I don't think, is Lauren in hiding? Maybe that's why all of her videos are in a fucking forest in a cabin or whatever. Maybe she is actually off the grid. Why are you suggesting I ran off? He agreed to let me go visit my family and attend. See, this is where I'm disappointed. I thought Lauren was a child of the internet. Why would you ever argue with this retard on Twitter? Big mistake, but she's winning the likes war, so it doesn't matter. Why are you suggesting I ran off? He agreed to let me go visit my family and attend multiple funerals for 2 weeks. I wasn't on the terrorist watch list at the time. I went to visit my family. He decided he wanted to separate while I was gone. I had to stay with my parents and rebuild my life. In that time, my initial visas expired and they re-added me to the vacuum. You have no idea what you're talking about, Pearl. Like there's absolutely nothing she can say here where Pearl's gonna be like, oh, you know what? I was wrong. That's never gonna happen. We've got breaking news. Okay. Hilary and Steven have both been awarded $25,000 of the estate assets for use in the divorce case. That's the only money that she has. Meanwhile, Steven has access to all of the income he gets outside of the marital estate, etc., and he's using that to launch all the extra motions and civil suits against her. So he's spending upwards of $100K on lawyers. $100K? Literally has like 7 lawyers to her 1, and she's limited to the $25K. To be fair, in divorce cases, it could get expensive because you are literally fighting over... I'm trying to think. Crowder's worth at least $10 million. No question asked. Is Crowder worth at least $100 million? I don't know how much the valuation is on his Louder with Crowder business. It wouldn't surprise me if he was worth more than $100 million, though. It wouldn't surprise me, because he's had a pretty big media thing for quite a while. He's easily worth more than 10. How long has the Louder with Crowder thing been popular? My guess would be 50 to 100 million. That'd be my guess. These are never accurate, but we can just look at it. This says 20 million. This says 3 million. That's definitely low. Wait, hold on. Link me that Tim Pool tweet. Are they even done with their divorce yet? Can you get a child support order before the divorce is finalized? Would that even make sense? I feel like Tim just completely made this up based on this one number that he saw here. Is there... The message that you just read said that 25K was... Yeah, no, I understand. But Tim Pool's tweet is just like a huge lie. I'm a little bit angsty because Tim and Nick Rekieta and a lot of people backed up Steven Crowder in that big contract war between him and the Daily Wire, where Steven Crowder was clearly in the wrong. To anybody that works in the business, Crowder was clearly in the wrong. And I think that the co-owner of the Daily Wire did a really good job at illustrating. I have a lot of respect for him coming out. Is his name Jeremy? I don't remember the name. The guy that he was the co-owner guy that came out and Daily Wire response. Crowder. Oh, it was Jeremy Boring. Is it this? Being this unbelievably transparent about like a negotiation and like publishing all this and going through it, because most people aren't going to care or understand or whatever. I have a lot of respect for him coming out and talking about this. So props to him for that. Also, wait, this guy was the coach in that movie, right? The basketball movie? So he's an actor as well. Wow. Okay. I think Tim literally just made this up because he saw that 25K number earlier. I get him. Thanks for the tier 4 resub, everybody. This screen cap is an own goal. 25K sounds like a lot, but she has to not only pay for her divorce lawyers with that, but this guy, Gerald, filed a suit on behalf of LWC against her too. They're trying to reduce it because the strategy is to bury her in costs, not one on the merits. Oh. The judge in the divorce proceeding ordered that LWC has to pay me $20,000 per month pursuant to temporary order. It's not successful. I could barely pay. Okay, yeah. Okay. Again, this should be weird that like, why would Louder with Crowder? I'm assuming LWC is always referring to the business. Why would that be paying her $25,000 for child support? Why would that just? I don't know. That's weird, but yeah, Tim's tweet is just goofy there. But I think Tim will side with Steven Crowder literally no matter what. They're just on too similar of a side politically. She's quite simply a very stupid person. Somebody said, "F***ing over the woman of your children is crazy, or of your kids is crazy." I agree, but like, I'm trying to be sympathetic towards one side here because I don't fucking know the details of what's going on. But I mean, like, I can understand for Crowder, like, wanting to protect your assets. A divorce is a huge deal. And a divorce, you've got like, I think that the Crowder divorce situation is probably the worst case scenario of every single world. You've got massive wealth involved. You've got hugely disproportionate wealth between the husband and wife. You've got multiple children involved. You've got bad blood. They're angry and upset with each other. And it's a public affair where other businesses potentially hang in the balance. It's like, yeah, the diamond rank in divorce. It's like every single bad possible thing is involved in this divorce, regardless of the sides. It's just so bad. At Destiny, you should read Steven Crowder's virginity op-ed, seeing how he was so proud of his oh shit. Wait, we did read that. Wait, how many people are gonna give him shit like they gave me shit for my open relationship? Do you remember? We read this a long time ago. He wrote this whole ass thing about how people have premarital sex. As anyone who's read my abstinence column here at Fox News Opinion could guess, my wedding is something that I've looked forward to for quite some time. After having tied the knot at the end of August, I can now say beyond all shadow of a doubt that it was everything I'd hoped and prayed that it would be since childhood. I'd also prayed to be bitten by a radioactive spider and develop sticky hands, but I was an idiot. Let me preface this column by saying this. My wife, I have to get used to saying that, and I not only waited sexually in every way, no, we didn't pull the Bill Clinton and technically avoid sex, but we didn't shack up as live-ins, and most importantly, we courted each other in a way that was consistent with our publicly professed values. We did it right. Feeling judged? I couldn't care less. You know why? Because my wife and I were judged all throughout our relationship. People laughed, scoffed, and poked fun at the young, celibate, naive Christian couple. We'd certainly never make it to the wedding without Stooping? And if we did, our wedding night would be awkward and terrible, they said. Turns out those people couldn't have been more wrong. This Crowder literally did everything that people accused me of doing, okay? Listen, I've never advocated my lifestyle choices for anybody. My life is crazy, and I'm crazy. I've never advocated it for it, but people came at me like, oh, you said everybody should do open relationships, blah, blah, blah. Now look what happened. How many people are gonna attack Steven Crowder for being in a monogamous trad relationship? None of them, okay? And he's actually telling you to do what he did. You know how much money my divorce cost? Like $750, okay? You know how much money his divorce has already cost, okay? At least $100,000. You guys. What is this? It's so cringy to see middle-aged men wearing Nirvana brand t-shirts like they're trying to fit in with young people. Like, shouldn't you have your own style from your own era? This must have been a joke, right? That's the libs of TikTok girl? It's gotta be a troll, right? I can't tell. In one massive attack, Ukrainian missiles hit 4 Russian ships, including 3 landing vessels. How much of this Black Sea fleet is even left at this point? Stooping is a Yiddish call-out. Tweet that thing, Destiny. What, the Virginia? I mean, I don't know. People want to do monogamous trad relationships or whatever. There is some... I think virginity marriage is retarded. But if people want to do it, knock themselves out. Listen, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. It's just funny that people pretend I am. What do we have over here? Okay, a couple other links. Lauren Southern fighting with Tim Pool over Hilary Crowder stuff. Oh, I think we already went through all of this. Crowder is rich, therefore he has to fund his legal opponent, and if Crowder was poor, the argument that because Steven has money he is required to pay his legal opponent is too communist for me. Anytime you sue anyone, it's a war of cash that isn't unique. No, if you're divorcing somebody and you're fighting with shared assets, it gets a lot more complicated, of course. But it's Tim, so what? Okay. Now, Crowder asked Hillary to quit her job and move to Texas to support his career. That's why he has to fund his legal opponent, because she actively supported the creation of said wealth at his request. Yes, this is generally, especially if you're making huge career sacrifices in a marriage, I think a court is generally going to rule that you have to make funds available. You can't just like divorce your wife who's a stay-at-home mom and say, fuck you, I get to keep all my money and now you don't even have legal representation. There's no way. Like, you're just not allowed to do that. The victim lost around $4 million on the deal, according to the New York Post. For shame. Jon Stewart found to have overvalued his New York City home by 829% after labeling Trump's civil case not victimless. Jon Stewart is facing online backlash after the comedian opined on air this week that Donald Trump's civil real estate case for overvaluing property is not victimless when it turns out the price of a previous home sale finds Stewart doing the exact same thing, the Post has learned. Destiny still hasn't processed I'm back in orbit yet, give him a break. Wait, Dan, I can't get like a friend birthright trip, can I? Don't you have to marry somebody to qualify for that bullshit? On Monday night, Stewart 61 unpacked Trump's $454 million appeal bond. Coates responds to O'Leary by highlighting that Trump was found liable for falsifying business records in the second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, and conspiracy, all due to asset inflation. In response, Stewart asked, how is he not this mad about overvaluations in the real world? Oh, wait, everything you just listed is done by every real estate developer everywhere on Earth in every city. This has never been prosecuted, O'Leary replied. In response, Stewart asked, how is he not mad about overvaluation of the real world? Because they're not victimless crimes, he said. To further his point, Stewart argued that money isn't infinite. A loan that goes to the liar doesn't go to someone who's giving a more honest evaluation, so the system becomes incentivized for corruption. Stewart also contended that failing to declare a higher market value on a property while paying taxes based on a lower assessed value constitutes fraudulent behavior. Okay, so did Stewart do this? The Attorney General of New York knew that Trump's property values were inflated because when it came time to pay taxes, Trump undervalued this very same property. Didn't take long for internet sleuths to look into Stewart's own property history, which shows an overvaluation of his New York City penthouse by a staggering 829%. Records confirmed by the Post reveal. In 2014, Stewart sold his 6,280 square foot Tribeca duplex to financier Parag Pandey for $17.5 million. The property's asking price at that time was not available on listing records, but according to 2013-2014 assessor's records obtained by the Post, the property had the estimated market value at only $1.8 million. The actual assessor value is even lower, $847,000. Records also show that Stewart paid significantly lower property taxes, which were calculated based on that assessor valuation price, precisely what he called Trump out for doing in his Monday monologue. Wait, I thought that the big deal with Trump was that Trump was assessing his value at a higher, or assessing his property at a higher and lower value simultaneously. He would assess it at a high value for loans, and then he would assess it at a lower value or not get it assessed by the city for taxation or whatever. That's the big deal. This is just what Stewart is selling the house for. I don't know how often you're supposed to assess a house for tax purposes in New York, but I imagine there's probably some statute around it, right? The assessor value is never close to the actual sales value. This is Property 101. Timothy Poole, a political commentator known for more right-leaning views, alleged on X that Stewart was being a hypocrite. Did Jon Stewart commit fraud when he sold his penthouse for $70.5 million? New York lists its market value at 1.8. This is right on Leonard James' jurisdiction. I look forward to the grand jury indictment. Meanwhile, the New York assessor valuation on Stewart's former penthouse is the exact same citation method and
We talking real estate, baby?
a little, but not too much. I don't know how much it matters here. What was I gonna look up?
So what's happening to Jon Stewart? What are they yelling at him for exactly?
People are mad because Donald Trump supposedly, I haven't looked into the details of this court case, so take everything I say with many grains of salt, but supposedly Donald Trump would overvalue dramatically any real estate that he had in order to use it to secure loans or debt. And but when he would go and pay taxes on it or value it to the city or value it in cases where it would hurt him, he undervalued the fuck out of it. So people are mad that he was doing both things at the same time. And now people are mad. They're saying that Jon Stewart's a hypocrite because he sold a property at higher than the assessor's value for the property.
Okay. So assessments aren't things that we control. I don't know if people know that or not, at least in my experience.
Yeah, I think people are conflating an assessment with an appraisal, I think.
Yeah, so that those are very, 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 very different things. So an assessment is done, well, it depends on the state you're in. So let's do some education. Yeah? Okay, in California, you have a law called Prop 13. Prop 13 says that the value of your home for the purpose of assessment cannot be increased by more, essentially, than either the CPI rate for that year or the inflation rate, something along those lines. So basically, the idea is if you live in your home and you own your home, the most it can go up every year is
While
about
this
3%.
is true,
Hold on, I'm not done. Hold
okay.
on.
Just as a heads up for people in chat, Prop 13 is incredibly unique to California, and I think the way they do
It's in
things
Florida
is a little
too, but that's okay.
In Florida, your property taxes can't. How the fuck do they make money with no state income tax and fucking over property taxes? Where does the money in the Florida government come from?
I don't know. You could look it up, but it's called the Save Our Homes Act.
I thought Florida historically had it considered high property taxes. No.
Nope. And we have it in Florida. It's called the Save Our Homes Act. You can look it up. Anyways, so how does it work in California? We're going to use California example, and then we're going to use a random state as an example. But anyways, in California, how it works, the assessment on your property, how do they determine it? So the way that they determine it is off of the last sale. So if I go and I buy your house in dumbfuck California for $1 million, the assessment of my property is now going to be $1 million, meaning I'm going to have to pay taxes on $1 million property moving forward. But believe it or not, that is not common, actually. Most states, I believe, don't do it that way. What they do is they look at your neighborhood as a whole. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So if you go, let's say you go move into bumfuck Minnesota and you buy a house for $1 million, you would expect, hey, my assessment's going to be $1 million. Wrong. That's not the case. Most states, what they do for assessment is they look at the square footage and the location, and then they basically give you an assessment value based off of an average of all the other houses around there. And it's not necessarily tied into what you paid for that property. So that's how assessed values can kind of be. They can either be off of the last purchase price, or it can be based off of your subdivision as an average ratio. Okay. Your assessment determines how much you pay in property tax. That's it. Now, there's another different part that we're not talking about here. Okay? Assessment, that's for the government. That's how much they charge you in property tax. Now we're going to talk about appraisals. Appraisals is how much your property is worth for the purpose, typically, of getting financing. Okay? So if you anyone in here, any land chads that owns a home or anything like that and has gotten a mortgage before, you know that you've had to give the bank $500, and then what they do is they send someone to your house and they take an appraisal of it. Basically, they measure it, they see how many square footage it is, they see the quality of it, how nice it is, they do a bunch of write-ups, they find out other sales in the area, and they come up with this cool report at the end of it, and they say, this house is worth, and the answer is typically what you're trying to sell it for, because usually when you're getting an appraisal, it's the buyer trying to buy it using financing, and that's how the appraisal comes about. So I believe the issue with Trump's situation is that he was claiming very low values when it suited him, and then very high values when it also suited him. And that would be the no-no that you could do. So to be clear, with an assessed value, Trump should have, unless there's some special thing in New York that I don't know about, you have no impact whatsoever on the assessment. You don't make the assessment. The state and the city makes the assessment. So that is the difference. So what happened with Jon Stewart? Probably his place was assessed low. Probably because it's not based on the last purchase price, but because it's based on square footage and average other buildings and things like that are like it. And it was assessed low, and then he sold it for more. But that's how every fucking building will ever be, ever, in New York, as far as a unit goes.
Wait, so the assessment doesn't change when they buy or sell it either?
It depends on the state. So some states, they reassess on a purchase.
Wait, how
Some
was Trump
states-
able to inflate his property value? Did you read the lawsuit? Or are you familiar with what he did? Or I haven't read it.
I believe what happened is that when he was reaching out for loans, he was able to specify his own values for his properties as a result of that, as
And they don't
opposed to
check
the
any
bank,
of that?
as opposed to the bank going and sending in their own appraiser.
Huh.
And also, to a certain extent, they were probably relying on the data, because you have to remember, this is going to be very, 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 very different loans than like you're getting on a single family home.
Oh, people are saying he lied about the square footage?
Yeah, but that was only on his personal residence on the top of Trump Tower.
Huh.
What Trump did is a lot of shit like...
He signed off on a
Mar-a-Lago-
statement
Go
of financial condition that had a bunch of fraudulent shit in it, like lies about the sizes of buildings. He went as far as to lie about the height of a building. Okay. Wait, I'm so curious. How if Florida doesn't have high property taxes or income taxes, I thought these were like the two biggest like forms of tax collection a state does. How the fuck does Florida make money?
Pull up the fucking budget. If I had to guess, it's still probably going to be property
Florida.
tax. It's going to be sales tax. And...
How can I find out for state, Florida, budget, receipts? How can I, what would I look up for this? I see like revenues. So state fiscal briefs, current budget, budget proposals, give this thing a... Okay, revenue sources. Sorry, I should have looked at this. Okay. Each state allocates spending and tax differently among different levels of government. Florida's combined state and local direct government expenditures. It's just like an AI website that writes like AI articles. I feel like
I hate it when you're on there and you realize after a few minutes that's
yeah,
the case.
it feels like it's just like an AI site. They started piling up like fucking 6 or 7 years ago. They would do it with like stocks. It's fucking annoying.
Okay, Florida primarily makes up for its lack of an income tax with its sales tax, which generates around 80% of the state's revenue.
80%? What is the Florida state sales tax? It's only 6%. That's less than Nebraska. Isn't Nebraska like 7.5? Oh, 5.5. There must be like a county sales tax.
The state sales tax rate is
city
6%, and counties can only charge another 1.5, making the total tap
Gotcha.
7.5. And let's see, what else do we have?
Do you understand what I'm saying when I'm saying it? Like, it's how the fuck could they do anything? I don't understand. Is what I'm asking making sense to you?
Well, you understand that our state is like fucking broke, right?
Is it?
Yeah, look at the insurance market right now.
Florida budget versus other states. It's the same fucking website. What's another state with a comparable population to Florida? Populations of
Pennsylvania?
U.S. states.
I'm guessing Pennsylvania with knowing nothing.
Seriously?
How close am
I feel like Pennsylvania's gonna have way less people, no?
I think there's a lot of people in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania population is 12.96 million. I thought Florida was
How many in Florida?
22 million.
Fuck.
I mean, close-ish. What is it? I feel like Texas would be closer. Texas population is 29.5. Florida population is 21.8. New York population is 8.5. List of state budgets per capita. Okay, let's check out this. Oh wait, that was the city? New York state population. Oh, is about 20 million. List of U.S. state budgets. Budget per capita. Okay. Oh, so Florida's one of the lowest. Or wait, how is this done? I'm so confused. Oh no, wait, never mind. There we go. I wasn't sorting correctly before. I undid it. It's still one of the lowest. Okay. 10th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. What is California's? Oh, geez. Really? Oh, California's like middle-ish? I guess there's a lot of fucking people that live there. Jesus. Florida also collects taxes on insurance premiums, 1.75% on all premiums. Huh. Tourism. They have a shit ton more customers than most other states. Largest
to
tourist
be the case.
Economy.
Just there's more purchases made here. That has to be like something of it, I guess.
I think
there's a higher gas tax here as well.
I feel like California has to make a lot on tourism too, right? But Florida is beaches year-round, though. No, because do people vacation in California in the winter? I don't think you would, right? But you would for...
well, I mean, they have...
New York City and LA
Disneyland.
are landed in the top U.S. rankings for 2020 with travel and tourism. Oh, but this is probably like international tourism. Can I look for like domestic tourism? Is that...
Well, that wouldn't matter, right?
No, you're right. Yeah. Tahoe is pretty big. Really? A lot of different people go to Lake Tahoe? I thought Tahoe is pretty small, isn't it? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think that's
Orlando crowned largest travel and tourism city destination in America for 2022. There are 6 big ski resorts around Lake Tahoe. Yeah, but like a ski resort, even 6 ski resorts, my guess is are going to, like, all 6 of them combined are going to be less than how many people you could probably contain in like a downtown or downtown Miami area would be my guess. I could be wrong. I've been to Lake Tahoe before. That didn't come across to me as like a huge place, but the ski resort's not just the lake. That's true. I was only like the lake, so who knows?
What's gonna fucking happen, man, when a huge hurricane hits this place? It is gonna be... Well, I guess maybe they'll just get a bailout from the federal government. That's like something crazy you should look into, by the way, is the insurance market in Florida. Because this entire thing is built on the ultimate house of cards. And basically we have this state insurer called Citizens. It's owned by the state of Florida. And if we get a hurricane, we're fucked. I don't mean we're fucked like a little bit. I mean like we are catastrophically, unbelievably fucked
Yeah,
in this
speak for yourself.
state.
Okay.
Well, no, you would have to like. I don't.
I don't know
how
shit
they would
down here. I
react.
just rent. I just drive
Like,
the fuck away.
I think all the insurance companies are leaving Florida, and now they're trying to come up with ways to like make it so they want to stay. It's just really crazy, the whole situation.
Thanks, Eliminator, for the 5 gifted subs. I don't know shit down here. I'm a rentoid. Okay.
You should own shit. If you had bought shit when you first moved here, you would have made double your money by now, probably.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know so. When you moved here in COVID, right?
Yep. Do you think I would have
Yeah.
co-owned that property with Melina? Sounds
Well,
complicated.
I don't think it would have. No, I don't think it wouldn't have mattered. I mean,
I definitely have to buy her out from it.
not really. I mean, if that was going to be the case, you would have had to buy her out from all income that you made when you guys were married, anyways. Like owning real estate doesn't fucking make much of a difference.
I think
like,
the real estate is different because that's going to be a joint asset that's literally
Only
owned
if
by
you-
both of us.
You didn't have to. You don't have to put real estate in her name.
You think that
Like, both of
my
your names.
wife that I'd married spent a 3-year process to get married would be okay with me buying a house and leaving her name off it? You think that would have happened at the time? There's no way she would have went for that.
I think you 100% could have sold that. And here's how you'd sell it. Listen, it's my money. Okay, I've spent a lot. I'm buying this property. I love you. Okay, we're together. I don't know where we're going to be in a few years. Okay, I'm just buying a house. I made the money. It's my money. If you want to buy a house, you can buy a house.
And I'm not going to charge her rent for any of it? I'm just going to let her live it for free?
This is my thing. I'm letting you live here for free. How cool is that? That's a great deal for you.
Why would I
You
want her to
don't
live
have
for
pay.
free? Fuck no.
I'm just saying how you would have exactly explained
I understand what you're saying in terms of how I could have sold it, but I don't know if I want to buy a property and have a wife and not split the property with her. That just seems kind of shitty.
I'm just.
Is your wife on your
you would
house?
have done. Ooh, hold on. There's a rocket going off. 1 second.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes, but I've also been married for 20 years.
How long have you lived in that house for? Did you put her on the first house or did you hide her? Yeah, that's right. man.
Well, no, every single property since the beginning.
Oh,
But
there you
actually,
go.
not some investment properties though, because it doesn't fucking matter. There's some investment properties she's not on.
We're not talking investment properties. You're talking about primary residence, motherfucker. Don't debate
Yes, I
tactic
understand
me.
that. I'm just saying, not everything. How old is Dan? Old enough. Still a young man. I'll say that much. How about that? Young at heart. Young in spirit. Debate pervert.
Okay, so this was a dumb waste of time, but that's Tim Pool, so